I'm sure most of you who are here listening today are already thoroughly convinced that abortion is the destruction of a human life. Given that, I'm not speaking now to preach to a choir about the beliefs they already firmly hold. Rather, I'm here to educate an army. I'm here to strengthen and to inflame each one of you in your fight to protect the sanctity and dignity of all human life. Now, I'm going to talk about something that might make some of you uncomfortable. Rape. Pregnancy from rape. Yes, I know we've all gotten quite fearful of the issue during the last political cycle, but despite what some ham-fisted politicians will say, the question remains: is rape a viable reason to abort? This question leaves a lot of pro-lifers silenced. After all, it's a complicated dilemma. It's icky. We prefer not to think about it. And there are much bigger issues we should be focusing on. I mean, a pregnancy from rape is pretty rare, right? Well, while the occurrence of pregnancy from rape is rare, it does happen. This excuse to allow abortions only applies to rare, isolated situations, but is still used by the pro-choice cause to justify abortions across the board. The advocates of abortion pose to us such rhetorical questions as this: how could you deny an abortion to a 12-year-old girl who is the victim of incestuous rape? They argue that, after the trauma of rape, carrying and bearing the child of the rapist would serve only to further damage the psyche of the victim, that choosing instead to abort would allow her to recover and return to a sense of normalcy. Due to this, most people naturally assume that any pregnancy conceived in rape should be justifiably terminated. Well, there are a few problems with this line of thinking. Firstly, it is erroneous to assume that any rape victim will naturally choose abortion, or that she would even want one. In a 2004 study interviewing 164 women who became pregnant from rape, it was found that 74% chose to continue the pregnancy rather than abort. When a rape victim discovers she is pregnant, she is likely to be strongly urged by her friends, families, counselors to terminate the pregnancy. In the same study, it was found that many of the women who did choose to abort did so out of pressure, not because they themselves even wanted an abortion. Now, these friends and family members of victims most likely have her best interest in mind when they advise her, or in some cases push her to abort. They're under the same faulty assumption as the rest of society, that somehow having this unexpected, unwanted child would do even more damage to the victim, and that choosing instead to abort would allow her to return to a normal life. Well, let's clarify something. If you were raped, there's no way to unrape yourself. If you're impregnated through rape, having an abortion will not magically undo the damage caused by the rape. The new life that you carry within you is as real as the repulsive act of injustice that created it. And while you can kill it, there's no way to turn back the clock and make it never happen. An abortion would not solve the problem. On the contrary, psychologists have noted that an abortion actually tends to increase the anxiety and reopen the trauma caused by rape in a victim. See, despite what they would have you believe, an abortion is not quick, and it is not painless. It's not like flipping a switch, pregnant one moment and not the next. An abortion is a real, life-altering event with life-altering ramifications that countless women go through. In fact, the abortion procedure itself has been compared to rape by women with histories of sexual abuse, and has been dubbed as medical rape. It's fairly easy to see the parallels. Even the emotional aftermath of rape compares with that of abortion. Victims of rape and women who underwent abortions alike both report on having feelings of initial numbness or emptiness, a loss of self-worth, shame, severe depression, and even suicidal thoughts weeks, months, and years down the line. Tell me, exactly how is this helping a victim to overcome her rape? In the case of incest, a victim's wishes are hardly ever taken into account. An abortion is most likely arranged by the girl's parents, perhaps even the perpetrator, in an effort to cover up the incest, not for the victim's well-being. By aborting any child conceived in incest, one would literally be putting the victim through more trauma, robbing her of her child, protecting a predator, and then handing her back into the hands of her abuser for the incest to continue. The girl is not the one being saved here. Instead, is the reputation of her family. In reality, the lives of two innocent children, that of the mother and her baby conceived in incest, are being destroyed in such a situation. And it is all perfectly legal. We can all see now that the welfare of the child does not come at the cost of the well-being of the mother. In fact, they're one and the same. Psychologically speaking, it can be healthier for a rape victim to continue in the pregnancy and bear the child. Having the baby allows her to, in essence, conquer the rape. You see, while the rape was not her choice, keeping the child could be. While this baby was produced from selfishness and destruction, its birth can come from selflessness and love. Her attacker brought fear. She can bring life. She can prove that she is better than the rapist. She is above him, and above most of us, really. She can replicate Christ in the most perfect way. She can lay herself down to save the life of another, the life of her child. That is a beautiful thing. This way, the victim can begin to truly recover and move on with her life, whether she chooses to raise the child herself or give it up for adoption. The thing that matters is that she chose life. She chose to turn her curse into a blessing. Could any of us be brave enough to make the same decision? I ask myself this question all the time. I'm an ordinary girl. I'm as capable of conceiving as any other. I could find myself in such a situation, pregnant from rape. Would I have the integrity to choose life? Could I bear the child of the person who tore my life to shreds? Could any of you? After all, we must remember two things. Firstly, that the sins of the father are not the sins of the child, and that while a child may exist because of rape, the rapist is not his creator. God is. Why should a person's life be valued any less than yours or mine just because it was conceived in rape? Because it's unexpected? Unwanted? The circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It's what one chooses to do with the irrevocable gift of life that defines them. Julia Hakima, a pro-life advocate who was herself conceived in rape, speaks for all of us when she said, "It does not matter how I came to be. What matters is who I become."